A long-term cleanup project in Fairmont is finally paying dividends. The former Sharon Steel Fairmont Coke Works site was honored recently by the EPA with an Excellence in Site Reuse Award.
Today is a good day for Fairmont. The City of Fairmont is fortunate to be celebrating the successes of this decades-long effort to remove toxic material from the former Sharon Steel industrial site, and by doing that, creating an area ready for future development. Looking at this wonderful brand new State Police Headquarters building is proof of what the results of this cleanup and redevelopment can be.
The new State Police Headquarters in Fairmont is just the first of what city leaders hope is a string of new development. The site, located off Lafayette Street in Fairmont, offers an additional 50 acres for future development in a prime location near Interstate 79. Up until 1973, the Sharon Steel Fairmont Coke Works processed coal into coke and refined coal tar products. Over the years, those processes contaminated the soil, surface water, and groundwater at the site. In 1996, it was added to the EPA Superfund program's National Priorities List, and 3 years later, the DEP, the EPA, the City of Fairmont, and other local partners entered into a Project XL agreement with ExxonMobil, the owners of the site. Project XL was an EPA national program developed to test innovative environmental management strategies to achieve better and more cost-effective environmental and public health protections. Work at the site focused on aligning cleanup and reuse priorities. The Sharon Steel Fairmont Coke Works site is the first Superfund site nationwide to be cleaned up under Project XL.
Today, EPA is recognizing organizations and individuals who have made it possible to build this beautiful facility on a formerly contaminated portion of the Sharon Steel Corporation Superfund site. EPA established the Excellence in Site Reuse Award to recognize those people and organizations who have gone above and beyond expectations in reusing and revitalizing formerly contaminated sites.
Awards were presented to ExxonMobil and Enzo Properties, the developer of the site, along with certificates of appreciation presented to the members of the Fairmont Community Liaison Panel for their input on the project.
It's a real example of what federal, state, local governments, private industry, and citizens do when they collaborate, cooperate, and figure out how to get things done. In a state with limited undeveloped land and highly treasured green space, brownfield revitalization has protected the citizens of our state, yet fostered economic development.
The EPA's Project XL program began in 1995 and accepted projects until 2002. According to the EPA, the agency ultimately developed over 50 environmental innovative pilot projects under Project XL. But the celebration of decades of cleanup work wasn't the only news coming out of Fairmont during the June 6th ceremony. Take a look.
I am very pleased to make an additional announcement today that EPA has selected the City of Fairmont for a $200,000 Brownfields Assessment Grant to provide environmental assessments on other properties which may be contaminated by hazardous or petroleum pollution. As many of you know, brownfields are sites where reuse and redevelopment are hampered by real or perceived contamination. The city will be able to use these grants to determine whether properties are contaminated and in need of cleanup from prior reuse. Cleaning up and revitalizing brownfields properties helps communities in many ways, including reusing existing infrastructure, cleaning up blight, putting properties back on local tax rolls, creating jobs, and providing economic opportunity for residents impacted by contaminated and abandoned properties in their neighborhoods.
It's a wonderful opportunity. And the money we received today from the EPA will enable us to assess more sites that may have some contamination issues, and we can deal with that in the future with some future brownfields grants to clean them up also.
Since 1998, over $18 million in EPA brownfields funding has been invested in West Virginia, including $2.8 million this year alone. The Brownfields program targets communities that are economically disadvantaged and provides funding and assistance to transform contaminated sites into assets that can generate jobs and spur economic growth. A nationwide study analyzing 48 brownfield sites found that spending roughly $12.4 million in assessment and cleanup produced an estimated $29 to $97 million in additional tax revenue generated for local governments in just a single year after cleanup. Another study found property values of homes located near brownfield sites that are cleaned up increased between 5 and 25% post-cleanup. Fairmont's Brownfields Assessment Grant will be used to conduct assessments over the next 3 years. It focuses on the city's riverfront, downtown, and university districts. Fairmont received 2 previous EPA Brownfields grants in 2005, which allowed the city to assess contamination levels at 15 sites.